Hello everyone, my name is Amara Russell and I am doing my library assignment on a graphic novel called The Sisters, written by Raina Telgemeier. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But just to give you an idea what it looks like, just in case you plan to go and find this on Amazon, that's the cover. So it's called Sisters. Again, the writer is Raina Telgemeier. Let me introduce the creative team to you. The color is done by Brendan Lamb. It's edited by Cassandra Pelham. The lettering is done by John Green. The book design is done by Phil Falco. The creative director is David Saylor. It is published by Graphix, that's with an X, Graphix, and it has 197 pages. This is a genuine graphic novel. Act 1 starts at the beginning where the sisters are at home with their parents. They're all at the dinner table having dinner with their mother, their father, and their younger brother, discussing their plans for vacation as they plan to go to San Francisco. No, they plan to leave San Francisco. San Francisco is where they're originally from, and they're traveling to Colorado to visit family members. Act 2 starts right after they pack up to leave. So Act 1 is a lot of reminiscing back and forth on the past and the history of how they got to where they are now. And it's just kind of getting them ready to go. And Act 2 starts on page 27 where they begin to pack and get the car all ready with the children to go. But the father doesn't. He ends up flying in and the mother ends up driving the minivan with the two daughters and the son. So that's where Act 2 begins. It does fit our model. The story belongs to the sisters. Throughout the whole entire book, all the sisters do is fight. So the story is basically about them, and it's trying to see if they can come up with a resolution to their bickering and fighting. And also somewhere in there, the parents are having some type of conflict, which is why I think the dad does not ride in the car with them. And it could be due to all the bickering that's going on with the sisters. For some reason, it didn't really go into detail about the problems that the parents were having, but it did focus a lot on the sisters with their issues fighting throughout. The goal is to stop the bickering and basically try to find out what's going on with their parents. So the ultimate goal of the whole entire book is to come to a resolution and to stop all this fighting between the two of them. The conflict in Act 2 does support the goal. However, the goal is still not accomplished as they continue to fight. Like I said, throughout, that's all they do. I hate to keep repeating that, but pretty much that's what the story is made up. They fight over everything. They fight over space. They fight over markers. They fight over dolls. They fight over their room. They fight over clothes. The younger sister is always bugging Raina about something, so they're always fighting. The story does have a solid arc. It is clearly about the sisters, and also they throw bits and pieces about the marital problems that the mother and father are having. So the arc is about them. Let's see. I think overall it's just trying to figure out how to make them both happy and to keep them happy and to keep the household peaceful. It does have a clear beginning, middle, and end. The only part I was confused on is throughout the story, it flows consistently, but then it constantly takes you back to things in their past. For instance, when Raina, the older sister, had expressed to her parents that she wanted a sister. And so it takes you back to how that happened and when that baby girl came about, and I'll tell you her name later. But it just does a lot of reminiscing. It reminisces about the little brother, how he came about. It takes you back to their history, and it kind of throws the story off a little bit. But as you keep reading, you begin to understand, oh, that's what they're doing, because it just comes out of nowhere. And so once you get to understand and realize that, it's kind of expected, so you look for it. The resolution to the story is very satisfactory because at the end, the sisters finally come together. They stop all the bumping heads and bickering, and it's amazing how they come together. So I'll give you a little bit of history on that, but let me first continue to answer these questions. So the resolution, like I said, is satisfactory. The story does have good transitions. I'll show you that in a minute as well. Like I said, it was only confusing when they would reminisce, but even with the reminiscing, it still stayed, the directional flow was consistent, the dialogue was consistent. It just threw you back when the images were thrown at you and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on, you know? But other than that, all of that flowed very well. The McLeod ideas of transition did relate well to this work. Like I said, I'll show you all that in a second. And each panel flowed from one to the next. The only confusion again was the flashbacks. But as you keep reading, you'll begin to understand and it makes sense to you. The story does make use of each page as a mini comic. It works effectively through each panel. The characters all have a solid arc. The main focus, like I said, is on Raina and her younger sister. And their character doesn't change. It stays the same consistently throughout. So that was very good. It does make effective use of the directional flow. The art definitely pulls the reader through and it flows, and the characters fit the storyline. I absolutely would recommend this to my classmates as well as my friends. It was a very entertaining story. It was fun, it was energetic, it had you wondering what was gonna happen next. And if you have siblings and you grew up in a household where you're constantly bickering, you will definitely be able to relate to this story. It'll actually make you laugh. You'll find some good parts in it that you probably see yourself in. But overall, it was really good and I would definitely recommend it. As a matter of fact, I am going to add more of Raina Telgemeier books to my library. That's how good it was. I really enjoyed it. No other observations. Well, however, I didn't find any observations as far as the flow or the consistency of anything. My observations was, I wonder what happened to the parents. Did they break up? Did they divorce? It never stated that at the end, because at the end you only see them driving back home from Colorado, and the dad catches another flight back home, but he doesn't ride in the car with them, so you never know what happened with them. I'm assuming they all worked it out, especially since the sisters got over their bickering and everything's okay now. A fun fact, oh my God, you guys, check this out. So a fun fact is the baby sister, can you see that? Her name is Amara. That's a very rare name. And so I was surprised when I saw that, and I was like, oh my God, that actually kept my interest a lot more because I wanted to find out about this little Amara girl. She was actually pretty bratty, but it was very interesting to see that my name was in the book. So that's a fun fact for you guys. Just wanted to show you a little bit more. So that's one of the pages, splash pages. And here are the panels, how the panels are set up. That's them in their living room. And you see how the bubbles worked perfectly well with the, let me move my hand there, with the panels. The text is good and the directional flow is pretty consistent. It actually goes from left to right, and so it flows consistently and it doesn't jump all over the place, which is really good. So it was a really great story overall. The sisters were were pretty interesting. Like I said, they fought throughout the entire thing. At the end, they were able to find resolution because Amara lost her pet snake in the car, and for a week the pet snake had lived in the car. And so when they finally found it at the end, they like worked together to capture it, although Raina was afraid, but they came together as sisters, and that was finally the breaking point to bring forth the unity and the peace in the story. And so once the snake was captured, they put him in the suitcase, the mom and the little brother came back, and it was like a peaceful ride home other than how it was going down there. So actually the trip away did some good. Again, this is some of the images where they reflect back to when they were little. And this is where Miss Raina had decided, you know, she thought it would be a good idea if she had a sister. So she made that perfectly clear that she wanted a sister, and so her parents gave her a wish. They answered her prayers, I guess. What I thought to be very funny in this story is that The parents gave Raina their master bedroom in order to stop the bickering in the story. Maybe they felt like if we separate the two of you, because they only had a 2-bedroom apartment, and so they separated them by giving her the master bedroom, and they slept in the living room on the couch. Where they do that at? And so I thought that was very interesting. I don't know what parents would give up their master bedroom for a 13-year-old little girl, but if you have siblings, have been in that situation, maybe you can relate. Otherwise, you guys, I found this book on Amazon. Like I said, Raina Telgemeier has quite a few more books on there. So if you're interested, it is a great read. Check it out. And I wish you guys well. I hope to see all of you at graduation soon. And hang in there, it's almost over. So good luck, you guys. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I look forward to reading and listening to your reviews as well. So have a great evening and good luck.